So I was going to say I would describe myself as a gas, but that didn't exactly fit. But similar to how a gas just expands to fill the volume of the container it's in, I kind of just fill to whatever space I have. So if I have a desk that's super small, just a little box, okay, I got my computer, I can fit in, I can work on that. I get a big long desk, I'm filling that desk out. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to the Pretty Huge Dilemma podcast. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, reach out, help the podcast grow, help it move forward and grow this week. And join me as I work through some of these dilemmas in my life and help you work through some of the dilemmas that you might have as you go through life. Nice intro. This week, got a lot to talk about. A lot happened this week, a lot going on, car repairs, taxes, Valentine's Day, reading books, and a lot planning going on in the future as well. So tune in to the whole podcast and see what's going on and what we got in the works for this podcast. Okay. Not the worst intro. I've probably heard worse by me. But I think it's a good idea to get the like, subscribe, comment out in the beginning and the end. Might need to do that more. Maybe I need to put something in the clips I put out, because the majority of the views I get on this are on clips. They are on the shorts that I put out on the different segments that I get from this podcast, ideas that just happen in my life. It's like, I guess that's kind of funny. There's no real punchline to it, no end joke, no setups, things like that. But shorts is, I think, where a lot of views come from. Instagram, decent amount. Twitter, some. I don't know how to hack it. Just consistency, getting the video scheduled on time, get those going. Time of day. I realized maybe scheduling content to come out at 7 a.m. during the weekdays might not be where my viewers are at. My viewers might be waiting till later in the day, evening, 2, 3 a.m. Who knows? Analytics department, get on that. Not sure when it is best time, so I think I'm going to try to have it later in the day to come out, but I think we are getting better at having something every single day come out, so that's good at least. The graphics, the subtitles, those could probably use some work. Haven't figured out the intern part yet, but the episode just came out where I'm putting out the feelers for getting an intern and seeing if possibly we're able to do that. Most likely not. Maybe it'll probably be someone that I know and say, hey, you got some free time and want to get in on the ground floor of this, because I've proven a track record of all the other things I worked on succeeding, so why not join in on this one? I think the microphone's in a decent spot. I don't know. I've noticed that sometimes when I hit the table, hear that. Happens. Good. So happens to be a good quality microphone, a good high quality table. Hand built by Ashley from Amazon, following most of the steps, only a couple extra parts. I don't know if they do that on purpose or not. But let's get into what's going on in life. Last week, Super Bowl, my prediction did not go well. I predicted a lot more points, which not really predicted. Threw something out just to have it out there. Super Bowl foods, how they went, how I would rank them. There won't be number rankings, because that's for Monday, which just went to Walmart, did a lot of research on possible foods, things to get Ashley and I brainstorming back and forth. Oh, do we want this kind of food? Do we want this kind of food? This one's going to take too much cooking. This one, there's not enough variability. Because for the foods, I want some variability between them. I don't just want the same food in different forms. That's not too exciting to me. Maybe that's something I could do, but something that I thought was like pretzels. Okay, those come in different forms. Some of the like pretzel shape, the rods, the longer rods, the sourdough pretzels. But in the end, those are kind of just all pretzels. Someone threw out the idea when I brought up the reviews of doing different pasta shapes. Thought to myself, okay, yeah, people prefer some pasta shapes over others, but in the end, it all tastes like pasta. And it depends on if you're having a sauce with it. But I'm not going to rank whole dishes right now. So for individual foods or like ingredient type things, where Different pastas. You got bow type, you got elbow, you got penne. It's all just kind of pasta, and it's not going to have too much flavor. And there's also a lot of variability how you like that cooked. Do you like it more undercooked, al dente? You like it overcooked, soft and mushy? Which one? I think personally, I would say al dente to mushy. I don't like it where it's too crunchy and undercooked. If it's mushy, I don't have too many complaints about it because that's kind of what I expect pasta to be, as long as it doesn't just completely stick together. Sometimes for it, but went through Walmart, went down a bunch of aisles. I don't typically go down cereal aisle, bread aisle, chips, snacks, candy, all those different ones. Got a list of ideas. Now it's just a matter of going in and seeing what we want to get from there. Then ultimately, it doesn't have to be foods that all go together. It could be a mishmash, mixed mash, mishmash. Exactly. It's all different ones, and try not to have ones where we have to do too much cooking, because then, similar to like I said with pasta, it comes down to how we prepare it, how we could cook it, how I cook it, producer, intern, chef. Do I have to hire a chef now? And if I was rich, unlimited money, which I think even people who don't have unlimited money, they could get private chefs. That would be one of the more convenient things I would think to get. Yeah, you can get people to do your laundry, people to clean. I don't have too much preference in that. I've been to, I don't know if it's the right way to describe me, but if there's a place to put things, I'll put them. I'll spread out to the size of my container. So I was gonna say I would describe myself as a gas, but that didn't exactly fit. But similar to how a gas just expands to fill the volume of the container it's in, I kind of just fill to whatever space I have. So if I have a desk that's super small, just a little box, okay, I got my computer, I can fit in, I can work on that. I get a big long desk, I'm filling that desk out. I got notes that are months old. I got mail that needs to be thrown away. I got socks, clothes, kitchen counter. I got dishes from not too long ago, but just a bunch of dishes on there, clean dishes, dirty dishes, things that I gotta get done on my to-do list, things that need to get put away, Amazon returns that need to get done. And it's just all kind of spread out in a different places. My closet, there's dirty clothes, kind of dirty clothes, clean clothes. It's kind of all together. So the cleanliness, well, no, cleanliness I am big on, but putting things away, I know enough where things are. If I can't find things, then they're just not that important to begin with. But I'm more of a cleanliness disinfectant type person where, and like sweeping, things like that. Kitchen, I don't think we got too many. We probably have a lot of foodborne illnesses going around. We need to get more new wood cutting boards. That's been on my list for a while to get. The ones we have now aren't the best. They're probably like bamboo, kind of splitting. They haven't split yet, but they're on their way there. A couple more washes soaked in water, they'll be loosened up to split. There's so many different variations of them. There's like light ones, there's dark colored ones, there's like butcher blocks that are like inch thick. On the Instagram videos I see, they just have these blocks on the counters all the time. And they use salt, lemon, mineral oil to rejuvenate it and bring life back to it. We gotta upgrade those. So there's probably a couple foodborne illnesses on that wood bamboo cutting board we got. But I like things like wiped off, not by me. Oh no, 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 not by me. It has someone else. I appreciate it more. I look at it more. If someone was to say, "Hey, there are these tasks I need to get done. Which ones would have the most bang for your buck of my enjoyment or my getting my love from a list of things?" Wiping things down, that's probably higher up there than like putting things away. 'Cause I'll put my own stuff away. Because ultimately, I don't know, we got blankets here, we got boxes, we got files. Probably got, I think I threw away all of my graduate school stuff. Hopefully, they can't take that doctorate back. Hopefully not. I don't think my research has been proven wrong yet. Maybe it has been. I haven't been looking through the citations closely. I think I'm up to 20, but I haven't looked in depth in those citations my if the people citing it are saying, well, this person back here a couple years ago did it completely wrong and don't do it like them anymore. Instead, do it like this. That could be the case. But I haven't got, maybe I'm moving around too much where University of Florida doesn't have my email address yet or my home address. They haven't hit me up for NIL money yet. Man, I guess the podcast isn't that big yet. I assumed I would get some information about donating to University of Florida. I guess they don't have as much information as I thought they did. I think I've only gotten a couple calls from the University of Florida trying to get my money, but in the end, I really don't say anything. Maybe in a couple of years, they'll reach back out. University of Iowa, crickets, which, man, this podcast is moving because I'm going to have to circle back to other things. University of Iowa, wore my Iowa women's wrestling shirt to the gym, was working out, didn't have headphones in, which I guess that combination is just an invite to everyone in the gym to come comment on it. There's a guy in the gym I talked to previously. He's like, "Oh, nice Iowa shirt." I was like, "You talked to me previously when I had this shirt." He kind of forgot. Then a different guy came up to me, like, "Oh, wrestling, like you follow it?" And yesterday was a Penn State Ohio State duel where Penn State just killed them again. Like, "Oh yeah, Iowa's not doing pretty good." He was telling me about how the Brand's brother should step down. That's how you know it's bad. It's new. It was bad. Just random people coming up to me. I don't know, from Texas. He's like, "So it's not that big in Texas anymore. It's bigger, yeah, up north, Pennsylvania." But he was telling me about how the Brand's brother should step down. They should get someone else in. Like, yeah, I guess so. But if they bring in someone who went to Penn State, I don't know if I'd like that. See, dilemma. I just got a pen on my hand, but no, dilemma. Would you rather, nice fun game here, would I rather continue to be, I don't want to say mediocre, would I rather be in the top 10 or would I say I was in the top 10 or top 5? For this hypothetical, let's say, would I rather have Iowa be in the top 5 or have a former Penn State wrestler as a head coach and win a national championship for the next 5 years? This is a dilemma. Even some of these dilemmas I make up in my own mind. I think I would say I really don't want a Penn State head coach. I really don't think I would want that. Because then it would be kind of like in the NFL where a bunch of the head coaches are just from the tree of this higher up coach from this old back in the days, or how people are starting to be more from the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. There aren't as many people coming from various random areas. They just come from a single tree, which I don't think. I think I would be in the top 10 and complain about not being at the Penn State level than having someone who formerly went to Penn State as a coach. Yep, I think that's what I'd rather go with. And if we're in the top 10 with someone else as a head coach, okay, that's fine. Even in 5 years, be like, oh, they're getting a learning curve. They're learning all this stuff, building the program back to where it previously was. I think I'd rather have that than a Penn State head coach. Now, if it was top 10 with a Penn State head coach, top 10 with the Brands head coach, I'd probably go with the Brands then. Because, yeah, the only difference would be the head coach being a former Penn State person, which I don't think I would want that. I think it would almost have to be a former Iowa wrestler. I don't know who it would be. I'm not that in tune with it, not in tune with who's potentially there. All I know is I see Bobby Telford on the sidelines for it. But I don't know if a heavyweight could be a head coach. Oh, here we go. I don't know if a heavyweight could be a head coach of a major programs. All the coaches seen now, they're not, from my knowledge, they're not heavyweights. Sanderson wasn't a heavyweight. David Taylor, not a heavyweight. Tom and Terry Brands, definitely not a heavyweight. I think you gotta be somewhere. Okay, yep, here we go. Now we're rolling. I think gotta be somewhere in the middle. You can't be a lightweight. You can't be 125, 133, which I'm thinking the Brands might have been that. But they're also really squirrely. And I don't know if you can have 197. Okay, I think you'd have that. But I don't know if you could have like a heavyweight as a head coach. Because, being heavyweight, different kind of wrestling than the other weight classes. Kind of just big guy moves, not just big guy moves, but more big guy moves, big guy techniques in wrestling. They have like their own variation of things. Because in our wrestling practice, it would be okay, everyone, we're going to do this. You heavyweights, do this technique instead. Because if you try doing this, someone's going to get hurt, torn ACL. Even if it's not one of you two might land on someone else. So don't try this move at home. Don't try it on the mat. Don't try it everywhere. If you have in high school, okay, in high school, yeah, there might be more coaches who are currently in the heavyweight weight class, but not when they were in their wrestling days. They might have been lighter weights. Yep, we're sticking on that. Good clip. There we go. Way to stumble on that. I don't think you have a heavyweight as the head coach for it. Okay. That was something. That was flow state. I don't know if it was. It was something, but it kept rolling because now I want to go back and see where did I end off at? I don't even know what I talked about. Super Bowl foods. Am I going to start the whole rant again? They're fine. Walmart will rank some foods in there. But Super Bowl foods, I don't know. We had turkey meatballs. Those were pretty good. Pretty much ground turkey, oats, egg, some seasonings. The homemade roast beef, top ground roast. Man, Meat Dad let me down. That meat was overcooked. It was like a pound and a half. I put it in 500 degrees for 7.5 minutes, 5 minutes per pound. Left it in there for 2 hours. It was overcooked. Wasn't inedible. Like it was still fine, but it was well done. There was no pink in that. So I might try it again. I don't know if I'll do the 500 technique again. I probably could. I'd probably have to check the temperature more often in there. I think the 500 is fine because I don't know the other videos that this might just be him and his technique of cooking it. So for Christmas, prime rib I guess is a big thing. I think we had it like once or twice. I don't remember. I just remember having a silent dinner when people got upset and didn't want to talk. But he talked about having like prime rib. He would put 500 degrees, let it rest for however long in the oven. So I might try that again. The rest of it, cauliflower pizza, it was fine. Got the spinach one, definitely tasted like spinach. Well, it was the sauce had left the chat, so it was like a white sauce thing. That was fine. What else do we have? Some Topo Chicos, a little fancy. I don't know, it tasted fine. Sparkling water, just something with bubbles sometimes. Yeah, I know glass bottles have more microplastics because of the paint, blah, blah, blah. It was a special occasion. What else did we have? Chips, hummus. Hummus was a little too olivey for me. I think it was olive tapenade. I think that's the word for it. I don't know what that means in Greek, Arabic, whatever it was. I think we had that. Do we have anything else? But no, it was fine. It wasn't too interesting of a game. Commercials, kind of a letdown, and you're hearing this a long time afterwards, so I'm just going to get too much into that. Got Super Bowl foods, that's done. This weekend, or this week, big weekend. A lot of things happening. We had our taxes done. Well, done. We gave all our documents to a tax person. That's what I was going into. Being rich, if I had a chef, oh man, that would be so convenient. Even making like pre-made type things, but yeah, you can get frozen pre-made stuff. But there's a bunch of extra stuff in that pre-made things, preservatives to keep it frozen, bunch of extra sodium, stuff like that. And I don't know, some of it tastes okay, but having a homemade or a chef, or at least if I was to have them come, I wouldn't want it to be Sunday because that would make me too stressed. I'd be like, hey, I'm trying to prepare for the week. I don't need you in here at the same time as me. It would be like, I'm coming in Monday, it doesn't have to be a full week of food, just like the weekdays. The weekends, okay, I'll figure that out for myself. But just like 4 or 5 meals, because hey, maybe I'll eat out one of these times, get a gift card or something. Like 4 or 5 meals, no, like dinners, and then the rest of the week as well. So how many meals is that? 4, 20, 25? 20, 25 meals. They don't have to be the biggest things. And but having that'd be super convenient. And they wash the dishes. Man, all right. There's someone who just went around the neighborhood at like dinner time. They started at one end, then went down to the other end from like, if you just did that from like 5 to 7 o'clock, which I don't know how much time you would need. You'd have to be pretty good at it if you're just doing it from 5 to 7, maybe from like 4 to 8 o'clock. If you just went up and down the street and said, "Hey, you cook dinner, you use all the dishes you want. I'll come in when you're done cooking, everything cleaned up. Maybe not everything put away, but everything washed in a drying rack." That would be so convenient to have. Just which, okay, yeah, there's a dishwasher. But again, there's things that can't go in the dishwasher. Stainless steel stuff. Sometimes dishwasher gets filled up. We got coffee setups. We got some other dishes, stainless steel bowls, things like that aren't going in the dishwasher. So if someone just came in and said, "Yep, cook all your food, get all this done," and then like leftover dishes that just can't go in the dishwasher. Someone just came in, "Hey, here for 15, 30 minutes. I'm going to clean everything, all the harsh chemicals it takes to get this stuff off, all the powder, all the barkeeper's friend it takes to scrub all the stuff off. I'll do that for you. You don't got to worry about it. You don't got to worry about the gloves, your hands getting wrinkly, stuff like that. I'll do it." That would be convenient. And you wouldn't have to have that much because, again, you're kind of limited by how much you could do as one person. Like, if you just had a street with, I don't know, 20 houses and it takes you 30 minutes a house, that's a decent amount of time. And in the evenings, well, you could have different houses, different days. But some people might leave you more dishes than others. But I might, business idea. Make a business where you go into people's houses with their consent from the, well, I guess you could have it any time of day. If you go in there, you say, "Hey, I'm just gonna come in here. You cook, do all your cooking, whatever, how many meals. I'll come in there. I'll clean the dishes. However long you want that to be. I don't, I don't need you to cook the food. I'll cook the food, but all the dishes that it takes, and it's not even that many dishes. It's like a couple sheet pans, a couple skillets, a couple plates, a couple bowls, a couple water bottles. Just go in there and clean them for me." That would be nice. If someone came in here 2 times a week, what would I mean, this is different because it's me paying for it, and also I got a wife, so like I pay enough for that service. I don't know if I need this one. That would be so convenient to have. You don't need to cook my food. It's the dishes that I don't like. Yeah, maybe chefs get in this form of, oh, you get in this state where you enjoy washing dishes, stuff like that. I haven't hit that stage of my cooking career yet. Okay. The other thing, taxes, which you can do, it's not that difficult, is paying someone to do your taxes. Yeah, when I was a single guy, one job that I got a W-2 from, no health insurance because still on my family's plan, no interest accruing, no debt payments, no crazy situations. Yeah, it was, I don't know, easy. It was still kind of confusing to do taxes. So like, I don't know where these forms go. You're asking me questions that don't really matter. You're asking me about these investment questions where if I'm taking a standardized deduction, they don't matter anyway. But getting someone to do your taxes, man, it makes it so much easier. Instead of like a half day, full day process where you submit it and you go, "Hey, IRS, this is all comedy podcast. Nothing can be held accountable for me." Put a big asterisk wherever. But just, and then, okay, so you fill everything in the HR block, whatever, tax act, whatever, people who are stealing your information allegedly. You give them that and you hit submit and you're like, "I think I did it correctly. It's saying I'm getting $1,000 in my bank account next week. Okay." And then you get back and you're like, "Should I have this money?" Being a tax person, you just give them a couple of years tax returns, tell them your situation, like, "Hey, we have these jobs, we bought this big ticket item, we got this going on, we got these businesses, we got money coming in from this way, we got these investments, these withdrawals, blah, blah, blah." Fill out a little bit of your general information, hand them all the tax sheets you get in the mail, done. He'll do it when he gets to it. He might be joking saying, "Man, this is so easy, these people could do it for nothing, blah, blah, blah." Well, I don't care. And I'm not 100% sure what we pay. Whatever it is, worth it. As long as I don't got people coming knocking on my door, mail from people that I don't know about, I'm fine for it. Because yeah, so much less stressful. All it was printing out a bunch of forms, staples. Yeah, we had to print some stuff at Staples because we can't afford a printer. I don't know, if we had a printer, the ink would dry out before we got all of it used up. So we decided to use Staples. Like, man, this is some high quality paper. So we got that and we just handed it to them. And then after we did that, celebrated Valentine's Day. Bang, bang, bang. Valentine's Day. What's happening? We just pretty much did a lunch. So yeah, watch the clip, watch the short. Ashley said no surprises. So no surprises. Also, no spoilers. Didn't do either of those. We just went out for lunch, which going out to lunch at this place, it was a trip. It wasn't too crazy. It was kind of just surprising what it was. We went to a place that, yeah, we haven't gone to before, local in the area. Want to try it out. We went crazy and went Italian. I tried to throwing out some places that were like Japanese, Thai, things like that. I don't know. I haven't gone to those types of places either. But I was like, we'll throw it out there. An Italian place. We've been to an Italian place before. There's nothing really too new there to go about. Steakhouses, we've done that. But like Thai places, pho. I guess those weren't Valentine's Day enough. Whatever. So we went there. This was a place, according to the like website and Google reviews, like hundred some, I don't know, 100,000, not hundreds or thousands, a bunch of Google reviews, 4.5 plus ratings, something like that. And it looked like a popular place. So we go there. We want to go for lunch because dinner, I don't know, dinner's too late in the day. We're trying to relax, just watch a movie, not go out and do too much. So we just went there for lunch. And they said they had lunch specials. We're like, okay, like this is fine. People go here for lunch. We go there. We're the only people in this restaurant. Like, what is going on here? This isn't like a remote, middle of nowhere place. Like, this is a city. There's a busy road right there. There's a bunch of reviews. No one's here. And as we were there, I don't know, food was fine. We got some sal. The salad I got, it was just lettuce. I got balsamic vinegar on the side, lettuce, balsamic vinegar, one cucumber, iceberg lettuce, one cucumber slice, one tomato slice. I actually got the upgraded Caesar salad. A lot of quotes, so make sure you go watch the video on, well, videos on YouTube and Spotify. So I actually got Caesar salad. It was just the same iceberg lettuce, Caesar dressing, I assume from a bottle, and some croutons. Which I don't know, I didn't have too high of hopes in there. It was like, whatever, this is fine. Then we got veal, which I don't know. It tasted fine. I don't know. Looking into it more, I don't know if I have an ethical stance against veal or not. It took us a while because like the three main meats they had: seafood, out; chicken, got that at home; veal. First was like veal. Is that deer? Like, why do they have deer or elk meat here? It's like, hmm. Maybe veal is veal deer is VEIL. And I looked up before this. Another name for deer meat is venison. So it definitely wasn't that. It was veal. When I looked up what it was at the restaurant, I was like, oh, this is just like young calf. Which I don't know if I have an ethical stance against that or not. So like, oh, the calf's like 18 to 24 months. Like, I guess we'll try it out. It wasn't the most like, I don't know, flavorful thing. It kind of tasted, it honestly kind of tasted like a TV dinner Salisbury steak. I was like, it wasn't very tough. It didn't have too much taste to it. Mostly just tasted the sauce that was on it. Then it's like, I don't know. I don't think I would have this again. The floor is like, it was very gray. There was no carpet. It was just concrete that had like some like sealant on it. Like, what is going on here? No carpet, no music on. That's crazy. What am I supposed to just talk with the person I came with? Put something on the background so if there's a lull in the conversation, we can both like sing along to it and act like it's not an awkward situation. Something like that. But it was, I don't know, an interesting place. It was just no one else was in there. Like it's not, we weren't there like at 10 a.m. right when they opened. Like it was later in the afternoon, just hanging out there when it seemed like would be a time for people to go on a Friday afternoon. I guess that's not the case for it. Okay. Valentine's Day, yeah, no flowers. We got enough plants floating around here. No flowers, no candy. Yep, great. All right, so books. Let's get on this. So I've been just going through books. Not really, just a couple. I don't remember the last update I gave, but this will probably be the last topic. So read How to Measure Your Life. I forget who that was by. It was written like 10 years ago, 2014. It was a decent book. Got talked about, I don't know, how to find satisfaction, I guess, in your work, your life, and then like how to stay out of jail. And his stay out of jail is like have some integrity 100% of the time, don't waver on it. I don't know. It was okay. It was a decent book. Kind of just think more about how you spend your time. Like as a kid, when you have a kid, you want to spend like as much time with them as you can. Yeah, you could work more when they're younger than when they're in their teenage years. You could say, "Hey, I worked this hard for you. You're able to do this, this, and this." Then the kid goes, "Well, I would have wished you spent time at home." They brought up if you have a baby, just talking to them like a regular conversation, even obviously they can't talk back, how that helps their brain development. Just because they're hearing these like words, these longer, complex words, and that just makes such a big difference to kids' development. Where if they've heard 500,000 words versus like 1 million, 2 million words, just the difference of it. I'm like, okay. So when I have a kid and driving around the city, I'm just gonna have to do a podcast for the kid every time I'm hanging out with him. I'm gonna have to. I guess that might be something that happens when you're a dad as well. You get dad strength, and then you get storytelling ability. So maybe this podcast will pick up more if for when I have a kid. I'll just get this storytelling thing. Something will fuse together. It's like the dad strength that just fuses together in your muscles. So in your brain, there's just something that's fused together the storytelling ability once you have a kid. So hey, when that happens, I don't know if I'll tell you if that happens. We'll see. Maybe you'll just, when it happens, you'll know. This podcast level will go from here, go from here to here. Yep, watch the podcast for that visual. Maybe it'll be up a little bit. Does it help with editing skills? Maybe. We talked about that, how to find things in your work where you think you're going down this path and then you take like an off route from it, and how jobs offer like, I don't know, job and purpose stuff and also like money. I don't know. It was a good book. It was fine. I don't remember some stuff from books in the moment read them. Then it also matters like if I'm sleepy or not while I'm reading the book. That makes a difference. And a lot of these books, they have similar things that go between them. The author, it is nice when I read a book from one author and he references a previous author I read, like in Clear Thinking. Mark that down. That's how you transition. In Clear Thinking, guy was talking about how we have like these defaults in our brain, how we need to know them, understand them, how we have social defaults, ego defaults, inertial defaults, and all, I think it was just like four of them. And how we need to like slow some of the things down, how to get ourselves in a better state, how to come to like to a better process of making decisions, when you need to spend more time on a decision, less time on a decision, if it's reversible, irreversible, things like that. And in that book, he was referencing the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel K. I forget, some Nobel Prize winning economics guy, I think. He was going through that. So that was a good book as well. Probably recommend that too. Reviewed them on my Goodreads, so you can go follow that, see where I'm at on reading books. The book I'm reading now, Undeniable by Cameron Haynes. I think I'm in like the first chapter of it, but man, for being someone who you wouldn't expect to be like a long author, like this pages, long pages, wide pages, pictures thrown in there, a lot of words, man. But cool seeing, I don't know, what he learned from his podcast. I don't know if I'll watch more of his podcast. I don't watch too much of it now. So he talks a lot about bow hunting, which the ultra marathons, that's kind of cool. How people do that, power through, get through that even when it's difficult. But bow hunt, is like, I have not found myself too interested in bow hunting, in actual hunting either with a gun. That has not interested me too much about how to get the fitting. Okay, I understand it's difficult. You gotta run all these places. You gotta fire it. You gotta cut it. Then you gotta butcher the animal, which I barely know how to butcher the meat I get from the store. And I learn the anatomy of this animal. I barely know my own anatomy and where organs and muscles and things are located at. And you're expecting to learn about a different species? No, thank you. But I don't know. It's a cool book. I'm saying but a lot. I need to figure that out. Oh well. Anyways, Undeniable. It's I don't know. We'll see how long it takes me to read that. I don't know. I'm not pressing myself to read. I gotta finish it by this time. It's like, okay, I feel like reading. Oh, I don't want to watch this as much. Well, it's not sports coming to an end, but anyways, with football not happening as much, maybe listening less to podcast. Well, no, podcasts are just gonna switch from like sports ones to more like comedy ones. It'll be with less football on, different days of the week, have more time for reading, or it'll be more time for editing, one of the two. But my Sundays and Saturdays won't be filled with watching football, so maybe I'll leave more time for doing other things like watching movies. So maybe I'm just going to become movie person, which Amazon has some different type movies out there. There's more movies that not necessarily heard of watching for the first time. If I have Netflix, maybe those are more mainstream type movies that watch more mainstream type movies where you would hear about them, other people discussing them, other rewatching old movies on Amazon, more movies. Oh, I haven't even heard of this movie. Was this movie ever in theaters? I don't know any of the actors in this. In the two recent movies I watched, Floor 16, where they were not harvesting, but like raising girls for their skin, and at a certain age, and when a customer wanted to, I think they were like Russian, they would come in and just cut the skin off the girl and put it on an old lady, and she would have a wrinkle-free face. And Project Almanac. It was a time traveling movie, which I don't know if it followed the rules of time traveling or not. Who knows if it did that? Not me. But the guy made a whatchamacallit. No, not whatchamacallit. A time traveling machine. He just went around. Him and his group of friends went around and tried different events and would go back in time and check stuff out. And then, surprise, surprise, he messed things up with a girl, so he had to destroy it. And in the end, the girl was like, "Oh, I would have loved you anyway. Why'd you mess that up?" And he went back to when his dad made the plans for it, and he hugged him, and he destroyed the plans. Spoiler. I'm not putting an alert in there. You're just gonna get spoiled because the movie was made in like 2014. Last thing, books. I might have to clip this for the beginning. So books, yeah, I was about to say, I understand them. I understand some of them. Like reading them, like people, I guess books are hot in the streets because not everyone, but a number of people are starting to write books about like their story of things, which it might just be the state of life that I'm in. People writing about like their autobiographies of how they got to where they were, all the history of it. But and that's cool. I want to read about that. I want to see a story of it rather than necessarily listen to it because there might be a way in their words that they explain it or something hidden that they haven't said before. But them saying, "Oh, buy this book. We're not authors. We're so dumb. Ha ha ha. But buy our book and we'll end up on the New York Times bestseller list." Wouldn't that be so funny? Like, yeah, we understand you're not the most talented writer. I I probably won't buy the book. I'll probably rent it from the library in a year, something like that. You're, we know you're not a writer and author. It's not. Now I don't have this highfalutin bar of, oh, you gotta be this good to be on New York Times bestsellers list. You people who are writing a joke about nothing, you shouldn't be on this. No, I don't have that stance. I have a stance of, why is getting on New York Times bestseller list kind of a joke? And why are you trying to use that to sell books? You sell books by saying, hey, I wrote this book. If you're my fan and want to listen, if you're my fan and want to read this book, go and buy this book. It might be the case. Maybe I'm just not the best at promoting. Is it more, is it beneficial of them saying, buy this book as a joke, so funny that I can brag about people who talk poorly about me, say, hey, are you a New York Times bestseller? No, I am. I wouldn't find that as funny. Okay, you can throw that, not even throw it, but you can say that to people who say you're bad at writing, bad at grammar. Okay, I don't think that's a reason to buy someone's book to make it more of a joke. Because I think, I don't know, books that do get on there, because it's somewhat of a bar of, okay, this number of people bought the book. It's beneficial in some way. But in general, I didn't explain that very well. In general, again, saying to your fans, buy a book because it would be funny to see this on New York Times bestsellers list, I don't really like that. I don't get it. Just buy the book because you're a fan of the author, not because it's some joke to get on this New York Times bestsellers list. Because it's not changing much whether you get on that list or not. So I don't know why they're trying to make a joke of getting on that list. Because I don't see how you would throw that in someone's face if they were talking poorly about you. If you misspell something on X, someone will correct you and you'll say, "Oh, I'm a New York Times bestseller." Yeah, you also had this other person help you co-write the book that catch a number of things. You also have this publishing company pointing you along, guiding you along in these barriers. So I don't think you need to try and promote the book because it'd be funny to be on this made-up list. I really get that. All right, ending on a high note. But thanks for tuning in. Please make sure, again, I'll say again, to like, subscribe, comment, reach out. If you have an idea for foods to review, let me know. I'll add it to our list. If there's something specific, send me an Amazon link or something. Nope, don't send me an Amazon link because I'm not clicking on any links. Bots out there, I'm not clicking on them. But just let me know, reach out, reply, DM, something like that. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you guys later. Bye.